Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. How's life now as a black belt?
Yeah, it's a strange one. Not too much changed. Like in the beginning, it didn't really set in. I was like, same, but different. Put on the belt. I'm like, oh, it looks cool. But now I've handed out my first actual belt to one of my students, and now it actually feels like, okay, I'm a coach and academy owner and a black belt. Before it kind of didn't feel real.
Does the pressure change now when competing, being a black belt and running your own gym?
No, I think if anything, it's taken a lot of the pressure off. You know, my identity is not solely as a competitor anymore. I'm now an academy owner and a coach. You know, so I'm split in three, just in that sense. So the competing, I'll always be a competitor. I used to be a fighter, then I became an athlete. So I was a fighter and an athlete, and then I became a martial artist. And I feel like now I'm more martial artist and athlete than I am just a fighter, you know. So when I compete, it just adds value to my academy, and it's nice for my students to see the stuff I teach them has been battle tested, and I'm in the trenches, so I can relate to them and I can give them sound advice because I'm going through it and I'm experiencing it. It's not that I'm just reading from a book or regurgitating stuff I've got off the internet.
How much do you think you have evolved since we last saw you at Submission Kings?
So last time you saw me at Submission Kings was just over a year ago, and I tore my knee, so I was out. I've had 2 surgeries since then, and spent a lot of time in the gym. Before I was working, had a lot of different side hustles, and I was coaching, but now I had no team. I was just jumping from gym to gym. PFA was helping me, Henzo's was helping me, you know, guys at Stellenbosch at Power Plant were helping me just with bodies and being friendly enough to allow me to come train there till I find my forever home. And now I've started Yorka, and I've built a team around me and a community. So I've got training partners every day of the week. I'm doing more jiu-jitsu in one day than I was doing in a month, you know, in a week. So definitely volume's gone up, and the fact that I'm a leader and I'm the head coach, I'm having to study myself and always improve. So I can't just be giving them the same old stuff I've been doing for the past few years. I need to always evolve. So I teach them my game, they learn my game, now I need to evolve my game. So I think a lot of the people will be very surprised at how much I've improved technically, and also just in my mindset to approaching the matches. You know, I don't want my last question to take away anything. As much as I say my identity is no longer just competitor, I'm still, when I compete, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, and once I'm on that mat, I'm going to give it my all. So
even under the covers if it gets cold.
drill just this position here. My partner hits a leg drag. I step on frame on my partner's arm, my opposite leg, high legs over, and I get to this position here. I shoot both feet to my partner's hips.
What's been happening, dude? Fill us in. Obviously, it's a new year, getting ready. Just give a bit insight what you've been up to and like a general content of what your plans for the year going forward.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, beginning of the year, Luke and I put out a pretty massive statement, just trying to elicit some kind of response from Johan, but didn't pull through. But other than that, just training hard, coaching hard. Yeah, the usual, dude. Plans for this year, obviously competing now on SubKings tournament, and then the SubKings super fight against Cam. And then after that, I'll probably pull a stint through to Austin, go spend a bit of time with Lukey, and then go from there.
You mentioned at the top, obviously, talk us through the situation with Johan. Obviously, for the longest time on the South African landscape, everyone thought like a match with Johan and Luke was the one to make. It obviously never happened. You're obviously sitting at the top of the mound now. What was the motivation behind trying to get Johan out?
So, in my mind, Johan's always been, like you say, I've been at the top of the mound. Johan is now that next step above the mound in my eyes, and for whatever reason, well, in everyone's eyes, it's kind of like no matter how high up on the mound I'll be, there's always one guy that I still have to get through. So the whole idea was calling him out would get me to that real top spot, and then from there I could progress internationally, knowing that I'm the best in my country. So that was kind of the reason we sent that out.
Was this undercurrent that you were avoiding the match with Johan? And like, it's hard for us as a promotion to kind of like, we don't want to really shut anybody down, you know, but
sure,
we'll let the truth come out eventually.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
The reality in that was we had tried to make that fight a few times before.
Yeah.
Was there a bit of frustration in people trying to say that you're avoiding
100%, dude. 100%, 100%. So I think when Luke and I were discussing it, what would kind of negate the I'm trying to force a thing was to offer up the money. Because if I was so desperately avoiding him, why would I offer money up to lose anyway? So that was kind of trying to kind of like say, hey, I'm not the one who's avoiding you, and it's kind of the other way around, but it is what it is. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. Sadly, well, I mean, there's still time. Hopefully, something happens.
Still time.
So Austin in the plans, and then in terms of competition.
So I'm going to go to Austin just to go and train with the guys again. I mean, it's been 3 years since I last trained there, so I've developed a lot. Physically and in my skill set, so I think it'd be good for me to go back there and test myself against the best in the world, and then while I'm there, pick up whatever I can. I know there's an IBJJF there, and there's also, if I do well in the training room, there's also something big in the pipeline that I'll announce if I land it, but we'll go from there. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously international competition is still big in your mind. What did you say now? Would you say anything's changed in terms of your long-term goals, like in terms of competition, or are you still kind of set on working your way into that kind of ADCC framework?
So, I mean, we spoke about it a little bit last year, towards the end of last year. I'd like to still obtain some kind of European title. Unfortunately, I think for me and for a lot of other people, ADCC has kind of lost its prowess since CGI and stuff like that, and the way ADCC has handled the whole getting rid of Mo and now massively downgrading the actual event. So ADCC's kind of taken a bit of a backseat, and it's kind of just kicked forward the idea of becoming some kind of European champion.
So, what do you make of Aidan Griffith as a competitor?
To me, it's hard to get excited about matches if the guy you're competing against isn't a challenge or isn't worthwhile, you know. There's a saying, it says, the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter, and me being the smaller guy, it's hard to say, a little bit older now, he's the guy, you know, him, Jason Durant, Luke Griffith, guys like Christian Kamp, there's a lot of up-and-comers and guys who have been around who are relevant. So I think he's definitely taking the sport into another direction with the youngsters, and for me it'd be a nice accomplishment. You know, I feel like I have the tools to beat him, and I'm excited about that. So as to answer your question, yeah, I think he's good, and he's good for the sport, and I think I have the tools to nullify that. It all just depends who shows up on the day, you know.
Is he a guy you've seen and thought you would like to compete against him?
100%. So funny enough, I competed at ADCC a couple of weeks ago, and I saw Jason Durant in my division. So I had written down, kind of planned this year, or the first half of the year, and I wrote about beat Jason in absolute, and that justifies the match with Aidan. I lost to Jason in the absolute. JP Kruger got ill or injured, I'm not 100% sure, and I got the match with Aidan. So the world works in funny ways, and I'm just glad it worked out the way it did, and I'm getting this opportunity. Yeah.
Aidan has become a big name in SA Jiu-Jitsu. What do you think a win over him does for you and your brand?
Oh, 100%. So there's been the debate who's the best grappler in SA, and Luke and him were talking about putting up money, talking about Johan Oosthuizen and etc. So I wasn't even in talks for that, you know. So being able to, one, throw my name in the pot, and two, ruffle feathers and disrupt what everyone had planned, it's exciting, it gets me motivated. I like to be the underdog, and I know I have the capabilities of winning, you know, so it's exciting for me.
So, what do you think are your keys to victory to beat Aidan?
There's many things. I think he's technical and he's skillful. He's bigger and stronger, so we don't fight fire with fire, we fight fire with water. So I just need to, instead of strength, I use speed. Instead of power, I use technique. So I'm just going to try implement my game as best possible and see whatever he throws at me and react according.
Okay, cool. Last question. What would it mean to you to bring back a title to Yokai?
Yeah, it would mean a lot to me. I've already got one title on the shelf here. I'm trying to build a couple more. I've already moved some of my little action figures to make space, just being optimistic. So for me, it'd be great, and also be nice for my students to see that their coach is capable of winning and that they're being taught by a champ. You know, it's at least a champ in South Africa at the moment, you know. So I think it will be a nice validation for me, and also just good for business. Guys in Paul get to see, hey, we can produce champions from this small town. We've already done it in the rugby, you know, so let's do it in the MMA and Jiu-Jitsu.
Just talk us through a matchup with you and Cam Pritchard, how you see that.
So Cam's super experienced, right? Super experienced on the Submission King stage, super experienced in the EFC and MMA space as well. So I'm not going into this underestimating him by any chance. I'm expecting him to come out like he usually does, guns blazing, good heavy wrestling base, nice strong positional player. But I do feel I have a little bit of upper hand in terms of the more jiu-jitsu style and jiu-jitsu skill set. So I think either way, no matter what happens, it's going to be an exciting match. And yeah, I'm really, really, really looking forward to it.
You obviously mentioned like positional play and heavy wrestling. What do you make of Cam in general as a competitor? I always say like if Cam's 100% on, I think he can beat anybody in the country. To be honest, he has all the abilities. Like, how do you view him like that as a competitor?
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. If his mindset and skill set on the day is spot on, he's a contender for one of the best in the country, 100%. So, in my mind, knowing that, I need to try and develop skill and come in with a skill that will beat that. In case he is, for whatever on the day, I'm sure he will be spot on and giving me his best. So I need to be prepared to give my best and make sure my best is still better than his, and then come away with the win.
Are you starting to? I mean, we've discussed this before. Like at the top levels, everything becomes harder. You know, everything becomes a lot more technical. The chances or opportunities become fewer. Are you narrowing down to that point where you feel like you need to start sending statements and getting flashy subs or like quick finishes and stuff, or is it more focused on putting on the ultimate performance for the win?
So, I mean, in my eyes, it's kind of, if you get a flashy submission in a super fight match, it's kind of opportunistic. It doesn't really show your skill, it doesn't really show what you can do and your ability to kind of impose your will on your opponent, right? So obviously in a tournament setting, like in an absolute tournament, if I get a submission quick, that's fine. You move on to the next match. But for a fight with Cam, I'd almost want it to go almost to the distance, display my skill set, show that, hey, this is not a close match. This was not a fluke submission that I've hit in the first 30 seconds. This is me making a statement that I'm better than this guy, or I can impose my will on him and submit him and finish him whenever I want and get him out there whenever I want. So to me, that makes more of a statement than just getting a flying armbar or an inside heel finish in 30 seconds. So yeah.
Okay. What would you hypothetically would be the way you'd see this match panning out?
So I think Cam comes out heavy wrestling, as he always does. He's a really, really, really good wrestler. So comes out heavy wrestling. We match the wrestling. I honestly think even if I pull guard, get into the leg, sweep him, and then from there either look to just put pressure on him from passing or from a half guard position or just from a mounted position and just wear him down, get to his back and get a finish from there. Or it could go the complete opposite way. I get put on my ass immediately for the takedown and I have to try scramble up. So it could literally be anything with him. Like we said, he's so good. If he's spot on the day, he could literally throw anything out. So I've got to be prepared for anything.
Round to the rhythm.